Hey friends, this is JB and it's the 14-day Wisdom Challenge show. Now here we go. Do you know what you are going to get from listening to this for 14 days in a row? You're going to receive instruction in wise dealing and get righteousness, justice, and equity. Have an appreciation for that. To know wisdom and instruction. To understand words of insight. This is what you're getting from that. Now, do you want that in your life? I tell you what, I need that in my life. I need a boatload. I'll take it all. And you know what? It's in here. It's in here. All we have to do is pour into it. And the challenge is to bring you 14 days from now. You pour into it just like it says in the instructions, and you are going to get something special at the end of it. You are going to see new things. You're going to understand people better. You're going to understand situations better. More importantly, you're going to understand yourself and God better because that's His wisdom up there. As you pour into this, you've got to do it. You've got to be committed. My friends, you got to stay with it. Now, today we are moving from, we were in Proverbs some time ago, but we have jumped into the New Testament. We are in Matthew 13. We're keying in on the word the word wisdom itself. And here we have Jesus rejected at Nazareth. And let me tell you what, this show is particularly important for all of you who have jumped on the bandwagon and have implemented this challenge and are moving forward with it. For everyone who is with it, this may be one of the most important shows, and I'll tell you why. Is because after you accomplish your 14-day challenge, and let me tell you what, it's not going to be easy. I've had to do restarts myself, and I'm presenting. Because you get so busy with certain things, you have to make sure you commit and dedicate yourself to the plan, the instructions. You can go back and look for them. But the point is that once you complete the 14-day wisdom challenge, after you have done it fully, successfully, your insight and understanding will already have started to grow. And the problem is you're going to have some problems with this too, is that people will not understand where you're getting this from. Where you'll come across as if you're a person who has no tangible credibility, but the wisdom you're getting isn't necessarily through all of the experience. You can get wisdom through that. God will bless you with that in that way. But we have some of it right here, right in the Bible. It's that special wisdom that comes from God Himself. He has baked this in, and us understanding, pouring into this, teaching it, sharing our lesson each day, you're going to get it from that. So you're going to be, let's say you are an accountant, okay? You're an accountant at a business office of some sort. Okay, so you're an accountant as a business office. You punch through this 14-day wisdom challenge. And at day 10, you'll slip up and you got to start over. But finally, after another 14 days, you actually finish it. You finish this. And at the end of that 14-day wisdom challenge, once you are certified, you have complete, okay, you're going to have more insight and information and ways of looking at things that all of your supervisors have not yet come to recognize that you've been doing this, okay? You've got to appreciate that they haven't grown, but you've grown. So while you finish this, don't be surprised is what I'm saying is don't be surprised is if you finish this, don't be surprised if people don't all of a sudden are not coming and trying to jump on your bandwagon right away. Okay, you might have to do a couple things. You might have to share with them that you've been part of this new leadership program that is moving you forward. It's called the 14-day wisdom challenge. Offer to check them out, or you don't even have to point them to me if you feel like, hey, look, JB, we're talking about Jesus. Sometimes my boss gets a little shaky with that. You don't have to point them to me. You can try to point them to Christ for sure, but you can tell them about the challenge and how you have done this and has opened your eyes, and now you are using what you've learned to apply moving forward in a rolling way. So it's a building mechanism. You're with the wisdom that you got, you're building up your wisdom repertoire, and you're going to be making bigger decisions. Now you've got to feel that out with your boss and your leaders out there. If they're not receptive to you because of their own situations and they only want you to count numbers, okay, or to dig ditches, or to apply to set up computers, whatever it is that you do. If you flip burgers, whatever it is that you do, don't be surprised if they're not prepared for you, because they're prepared for the old. They're expecting the old you to come in, to punch the clock, and to not really have much contribution, or just a certain amount of contribution, only so much that they're willing to get from you. And maybe you're already a manager or something and you're trying to get to the next level. Then that's the next level for you. Don't be surprised if you come with new insight, new understanding, and they're not ready to receive it. Don't be surprised. Couple things, okay? Be prepared, because as we get into this, you'll find that this is preparing you for that. Okay, so you need to understand what's coming down. Okay, it may be a new obstacle. It's a good problem, because you've got this new spirit of wisdom that's starting to trying to penetrate inside of you. After 14 days, it has started to penetrate, and it is trying to change you into new directions. And this is the great news. I mean, it's a good problem, but now you're going to have new things that you've got to think about. You've got to think about how you're going to respond, okay? So watch, we're going to talk about this, but I want you to start thinking in terms of how are you going to respond in terms of how are you going to try to take like a new course, not necessarily because you need to, but to show them that you're changing. See, I got from Steve Covey one time that in some instances, you have to share with people what you are learning along the way, or you share with them that you're taking a new course. And what it does is it sort of vacillates their idea of changing your life. And you tell them, say, look, Miss Boss or Mr. Boss, I tell you what, I've been noticing a few problems in my life. And one of the things that I've noticed is I haven't always made the best decisions, but I want to. I try to. And I do a good job on many instances. Of course, I work here and you've seen my work. But you know what? I don't do it as often as I want and with what the strength that I want. So what I've decided to do is what this is called the 14-day wisdom challenge, because I'm trying to improve. And I just wanted to let you know that as I do this, I'm going to be learning more about wisdom, bits and pieces, okay, not volumes just yet, but bits and pieces of wisdom. And what I want to do from time to time is if I find something that's very interesting, I want to share it with you, and I want to share it maybe with a couple of my colleagues. And it's just certain lessons that are to be learned, certain wisdom lessons. And if I can pour into this for 14 days, at the end of it, I'm expecting a new change and a shift. And it's going to take longer than 14 days for growth and for sustained effort on my part. Okay, and that's going to be something that you're going to need to do. We're going to need to do. But boss, lady boss, man boss, what I want to do is I just wanted to share with you that I'm working on change. And just let me know what you see. I'd like to get some feedback from you too at the end of this 14-day wisdom challenge. Just share with me if you've noticed any changes, because we're trying to measure that as well. And I'm trying to post and share some of the progress I'm making. See, when you do that ahead of time, okay, that's very wise, because then they're like, okay, so this is not going to be the old JB. This is going to be look the new JB. Now, when we get into this, Jesus really didn't have much possible ways to do that. But the technique as far as that goes, and this is different, but the technique as far as that goes of where you work, or if you're looking for a new job, or whatever the case may be, it's going to be very important that you have signaled to them that something new is coming, okay? So let's go get into this. And while Jesus had finished these parables, he went away from there, 54. And coming to his hometown, he taught them in their synagogues. So they were astonished and said, where does this man get this wisdom and these mighty works? Okay? Now this is the first instance in this little section. We're in Matthew 13:53. for all you guys. We're in 53 through 58. Okay. Where does this man get this wisdom and these mighty works? Not only does he have wisdom, but he's doing things. He's got mighty works, right? That's what the prophets often did. Their works were a sign that they were a prophet, priest, and king. Jesus is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary? And are not his brothers James and Joseph and Simon and Judas? And are not all his sisters with us? Okay, well, let me just stop right there. Do you notice the not? You see that negative thing? Not this, not that, not, I mean, in some ways that's the way they're saying it, the way they're phrasing it. Okay, but this is, it would have been a big but. Like, but this is not, this is Joseph's brother. But this is Mary's son. This is not no prophet. You're going to see that at your work. They're going to say, well, but this is JB. He is a analyst. He's not a manager. They're going to say, oh, hey, it's Susan. She's just a junior accountant. She's not a manager. She's not a leader. She's only, okay, they're going to say these things. They're going to say, but didn't he just start a little while ago? Or, but isn't he the one who did this or did that? They're going to say these buts or nots. There's going to be all of this stuff that's going to be basically a big wall against you. Okay, so you got to prepare. You've got to understand that this is happening, and for you to get past the wall, you're gonna have to do one or two things. You're gonna have to walk around it, you're gonna have to jump over it, or you're gonna have to bust through it. Okay, so you're gonna have to make a plan to decide what you want to do. You want to bust through? That may not be at the same company. Okay, that may not be the same company. You want to walk around? It's a long walk. You can do that. You can hop over too. It's going to take some lifting up of your big caboose, and you got to get up over that wall. You're going to have to figure out what your strategy is. Are you going to try to maybe shift to a different department, shift to a different company? Okay. Are you going to try to find out who can help you build a ladder or some sort of other device to get past it? Okay, you've got to figure out what that is, but you're going to face just that same sort of talk that other people are going to be trying to spout out. Okay, so be advised, okay? Now let's look at this. And they took offense in him. They were offended. They were offended. Some of them are jealous. They're jealous haters. There's going to be some of that in your area too. And another thing they're going to say is, well, you know what? The Lord may have given you 14 days of wisdom, but we need more than that. Okay, they may be talking all kinds of things. But look, once you get that 14 days, you're going to see this shift, and there's going to be the momentum has started. And then what you need to do is you need to just keep on pushing on that stone. Keep that momentum going. We'll talk about that another time. But when you get to the end of the 14-day challenge, you're going to have some choices to make. And people need to get a sense that you are legit. You're not in it for the short run. That wouldn't be wise just to kind of like, oh, look, I did my 14 days and I don't have any other responsibilities in life. So the 14 days was super easy for me. And then you do it. But you know what? You're going to have some expectations to do a little bit after that. Once they see that change, they're going to see that change. You're going to see it, and you're going to be thinking in new ways. Okay? So let's keep on talking here. Let's keep on reading. They took offense. They're going to be offended. There's going to be haters. But Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor, except in his hometown and in his household. Ooh, I was thinking about something earlier. And I tell you what, I got one of my sons. He's a marketing guy now. And one of the beautiful things is that he's with a company who is championing a champion for him. Okay, if you don't have anyone rooting in your corner and they're just all doom and gloom and just talking about how you're not good enough, okay, now you can try to definitely do some proving. Okay, show them your stuff, do that. But there's some people that you can never ever satisfy. They're always upset. They're always essentially looking at the bad. They're never a champion for you. They're never rooting you on in your corner. They're always kind of like in the back of the dugout, just, scowling at you. Okay? You want to have a champion in your corner. Okay? You want someone rooting you on. You want a company who is pulling for you, who is giving you the things that you need. You ever been in one of those companies, they say, oh, we want all these things from you, but they don't give you the tools you need to do the job? Man, it's stressful. It's frustrating. Okay? Unless you have something that is much higher in your life, much more important than your dignity, and sometimes there is. Sometimes it's your family. Sometimes it's God. Jesus, there was more things important to his dignity than being nailed up on the cross. I got news for you. You think that it's dignified to be nailed up on the cross? Okay? Have people laughing at you? The dignity's outward appearance looks very little, very small, but his inward dignity was huge. It was gigantic, and it's infinite, in fact, because he did that for us. So unless you don't want to stay at a place where it is miserable, and unless you are doing it for this higher purpose, and then even in that case, you should be looking for some new position. It may not even be what you want to do with the rest of your life, but you'd be better off, okay, if let's say that you want to be, I don't know, pro golfer. And so this company who treats you poorly, okay, but pays you pretty decently, they give you enough flexibility to do your golfing. Okay, they give you enough money to pay the bills for your family. Okay, so you have a tendency to want to stay there. But I would encourage you that you would do better with a company who's rooting for you, who is in your corner, cheering you on, giving you the things that you need, and have to put in an extra hour or two, maybe during the week, than you would be with this company over here. Plus, you'd get further. And in fact, ultimately, you'd have more time to learn golf if that's what you want to do. Okay? Or whatever it is. If it's sewing, or if it's baking, business, whatever. You will be much stronger by figuring out, say, hey, look, I don't want to be in accounting anymore. I'm just tired of it. I'm just going to stick with this job till I, get this other thing ramped up. No. I promise you, listen to JB, you would do better to keep looking for something in the same field, but with a company who roots you on, who champions you. Gotta be paid fairly too. But without that, my friends, you are going to be up against a wall, and it's going to be tough. And what did he say? A prophet is not without honor, except in his hometown and in his own household. You're going to see people in your own household, okay, who will not recognize when you are up to this new wisdom challenge. They're going to be like, man, this is my dad, or this is my husband, this is my wife, okay? People are going to say that to you. So just be prepared, okay? And in time, they will change, okay? James, I understand that James wasn't super, James's brother, James, wasn't super impressed with Jesus initially. But after he died and came back from the dead, he's like, I'm a believer. You bet, right? And he did not do mighty works there because of their unbelief. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. When you're in a place who do not believe in you, okay, who they're not supporting you, they're not rooting you on, they're not a champion for you, okay, guess what? That's like their unbelief. That could be your family, that could be your friends, that could be the place you work for, or your own company, whatever it may be. But you know what? Because of their unbelief, you're not going to be able to knock things out of the park. If you don't have people in your corner rooting you on, you're not going to be able to get up to the bat, okay? You're not going to be able to hit that sweet pitch because they're not going to give you those opportunities. You've got to understand that. You've got to find that place that is rooting for you, or make that place where you have people rooting for you. And when you do that, you will understand what this principle is here of how you've got to You've got to understand what's ahead and prepare yourself. In time, that will fade away as you start making these accomplishments. You churn this out over and over and over. Guess what? People will start to see and understand you in this new dimension. And then they will start respecting you because they sort of see the things that you do. But if you're trying to get to that place where you can show out, show up, show out, show your qualities, show the great things that God's blessed you with, until you get to that point, you basically are going to be kind of like stuck in a rut. And you know what the difference between a rut and a grave is? The difference is the depth, because they're both basically the same thing. You're going to have to either jump out of that grave or jump out of that rut and get moving on some place that is going to be in your corner rooting for you. Okay, and that's basically the nut of this. Now, I would encourage you, because of where we started, it said finish these parables. This is extra credit. Okay, now I don't really issue it, but here are the parables just before. We're going to get into these parables in a different time, a different phase. But for now, we're not. But you want to start to understand a little bit what he's talking about in some more wisdom? Tell you what, my friends, back up. Take this whole chapter. Look at it. But officially, all you've got to do is read 53. And then share what you're getting out of this one other person. You got to do that sharing part. Get it? Get wisdom, get understanding. My friends, this is a hugely important lesson. I'm so glad and thankful that you're here to watch and listen and learn from this, because when you do, you're going to get this new special thing. Now, you got to think about what I talked about too, because once you get more wisdom in your life and you start making changes and you start becoming proactive and you start seeing and observing things, and that's this compounding effect. If you don't understand this principle, you may be stuck in that rut and you're not understanding why no one else is believing in you, or why things are not clicking, why they're not happening. It's because of this principle here. Okay, it's the rut principle. Okay, where you're not seen, and no one has any belief in you, any faith that you can do anything. Just a little faith, just that you can maybe solve this problem. Move it forward, okay? Genuine faith that you're going to be able to tackle this problem. Oh, it's so huge. It's so huge. My friends, I'm going to leave you with that. I left you, this is getting a little bit long, and I want to leave you with some time to reflect on what you're going to do and how you're going to be viewed moving forward. So important. Oh, this is great. My friends, I wish you well, and I pray that you get wisdom, get insight, and get understanding, and get it now. Right? Let's do this. Let's do